Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Unfortunately, Aryan isn't able to join us today due to unforeseen circumstances. However, the show will go on, and today we will be covering Punjab Kings versus the Lucknow Supergiants. Game at New Chandigarh. Lucknow won the toss. Rishabh Pant chose to field first. Um, Decent strategy if you look at from him wise, because like chasing when you've got a stronger opposition to bat first is always a good sort of idea. Um, Punjab were rocked early. First in the power play, the ball was swinging a lot. Shami, Mohsin getting a lot of lateral movement, and Prab Simran went for a duck. However, from the fourth over mark, pretty much it was just Punjab's game from there on, and they went on a six hitting rampage, ending up with a total of 254 for seven at the end of that 20 overs. Priyan Sharia with 92 and Cooper Conley with 87. Interesting to notice there was a really uh, early chance where Mohsin had Cooper Conley plum for LB and appealed, but Rishabh Pant may have felt that it was too high. Um, so um, yeah, they missed that. Reviews showed it was pretty much straight plum. That's a costly 82 runs, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, early on in the game, especially when you're striking early, when you get a huge wicket of Prab Simran. So he was my fantasy captain. So I've had a terrible start there. Let me get there. Fantasy captain them because obviously LSG don't have that excellent bowling attack. So went for him. Unfortunately, I've got Cooper Connolly who covered up. But yeah, again, given that you've already taken a huge wicket of Prab Simran early on against Punjab in their own den, you've got to take these reviews. Unfortunately, I didn't see that part of the game, but from what I've heard from my mates, it was pretty obvious. It should have been Plum. So I think in a game when you have two reviews start of the game, two informed players, you got to take those. So LSG again, they're digging their own sort of thing where they look good in certain aspects of the game. They have good individuals, but when it comes to the overall planning, they're not an excellent side, in my opinion. So yeah, that should have been taken very early, given how much of a damage Connolly and Priyanchari caused later on. So yeah, big decision. Yeah.
And that led to LSG trying to make a valiant effort to chase down that mammoth total. They ended up with 200 for five. A second innings that had sort of a really comic end with catching and fielding with regards to Punjab. But nonetheless, still a big victory in terms of margins, 54 runs. And I think from this match, what we can point out early on, especially, is that there were a lot of tactical errors by LSG with regards to their bowling. Obviously, the most obvious blunder was when you had Cooper Conley, which we've already discussed. Having him there would have shifted the momentum massively for LSG. But I think another sort of two or three moments that helped Punjab as well were the first one was the fact that despite the movement of the ball, like it was swinging a lot. LSG for some reason decided after four overs that they will remove the slip. And then in that over, which was Prince Yadav, Cooper Conley got an edged four. And first slip had gone to sort of a fine leg position. And then there was another, like the following over with Mohsin at the start, Priyan Sharia getting sort of a similar fashion four. So maybe LSG could have kept that. The second thing, in my opinion, which they did wrong was Ayush Badoni straight after the power play. Now, Ayush Badoni is someone who I have personally seen. I practiced in nets in India. and he came there around just for like one session because his coach was the same coach at our academy. And the thing is, Ayush Badoni as a batter, brilliant, but Ayush Badoni as a bowler, when Punjab are already going on such a rampage, not the best idea because he's not someone who can, turn the ball that significantly. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, I personally didn't see that over, but I saw he went for 14 runs, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, again, these sort of decisions, which is my point early on. LSG have the resources, they're not using it. That's my take on LSG this season because I'll come on to their batting in a bit. But again, with their bowling, you've got a Siddharth who can bowl. You know, he looked very good today. I think he, desperate. If you look at his legs, he's gone
Him
Yorker
and
full.
Yeah, him
Him
and Prince
and
Yadav were probably the standouts for LSG.
Yeah, yeah, standouts. But as a spinner, I felt they could have used Siddharth in the power play because he's not that traditional spinner. He's not a Chahal. He's not someone, Chahal will pull it slow in the air. He
Yeah,
doesn't, he's not someone like a Bishnoi you can throw in as a trump card in the power play. So when you've got someone like a Siddharth who bowls it quick in the air, to these new batsmen who are trying to get in form, I think they should have done that rather than a Baroni. So it's that again, I'm not very confident about this LSG team going forward, but yeah, again, this is a learning opportunity for them. So I think that's what they should do in the next games. But I think in some aspects, LSG did look good. I think the batting worked out for Baroni. So I was surprised when, they put Baroni out to open. I was thinking, why would they remove Markram and yeah, Markram only. But I guess it's the recent stats that show that Markram hasn't done well. So I guess a good move strategically by LSG to try and put Baroni in that opening batting position, which he did well. So I think that's what got them to 200. Otherwise, I don't think they would have done. But yeah, again, these sort of minor decisions, when you have bowlers which you can use, you should use that rather than someone who's not bowled. And as you mentioned, he probably won't get much done. So yeah, that's my take on that.
yeah. So, with regards to the first innings, I mean, not really much. Punjab dominating. And in the second innings, that sort of, even despite the huge start for LSG, they just were always behind. Um, I think their power play score was around 61 for one. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah, I think they were on par with Punjab actually. I'm
yeah,
not sure how much Punjab got in the
yeah.
power play, but
And
yeah, I think they look good. Yeah,
despite that like strong start and despite what you would say is a brilliant effort, uh, it was just the sheer sort of the middle overs in which Punjab capitalized versus LSG.
yeah. I think the way I think obviously coming to Punjab, obviously they're a team that's unbeaten in the league, so you have to think that they've already have set high standards for their bowling. They're a team that knows when to use what bowler. So as expected, you'd bring on a Chahal when the pitch is slowing down, it's wearing a bit. I felt that was a good move personally. I think the way they use their bowlers, I think Shreyas as a captain, I mean, I keep saying this, he's very clear on when to use what bowler. Even though Bartlett got a hit, he didn't flinch. He gave him another over, just see how it goes. Obviously, Bartlett did get hit. That's one negative about the Punjab side. Bartlett unfortunately got hit, but the way he brought on Vaishak Vijay Kumar, I think him as the impact player was really good because even when you're defending 255, I think a champion team, their mentality is to squeeze the opposition, bring them down to a 170, which I think they did try to, but again, obviously some fielding discipline issues with Shashank Singh. I don't know what's happened to him, but again, if they are to go on and win the league, I feel they need to work on, finishing the games off. Obviously, they won by a huge margin. It was obvious. We know they won, but in games where you're winning, you have to try and finish them off as early as you can. And that's why I said LSG probably just stranded at 200 when they should have maximum gotten 180, which is I think they helped their net run rate rather than Punjab getting a huge win. So yeah, this is my take on what Punjab could have done. But again, a brilliant team. Their cricket is positive. Their bowling is very good as their batting. So a well-rounded side.
So yeah, so from this game, that's it, and it concludes a weekend in which we saw many strategic errors, not just in this game but other ones. Rian Parag and Romario Shepherd, and there are more examples we can list, but we'll wrap it up for today,
Yeah.
and we'll see you guys next week. We'll be covering more matches. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.